Welcome to Season 4 of My Wife the Dietitian, a fun, evidence-based weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy living. On today's show, we're talking about Parkinson's disease. It's one of the fastest growing neurodegenerative diseases, and it's on the rise. Tune in to hear how it's caused and if nutrition can play a role in its treatment. Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Rob.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. We have a bit of a serious topic. I have a question from a listener.
Okay.
She says, my dad was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Is there a diet he should be on?
Is that diet related? I mean, maybe that's a silly question, but I guess I have the same question as your listener, as our listener.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a big topic. I have seen many, many clients and helped many residents in long-term care that have Parkinson's, all stages of early to advanced disease. And it is the fastest growing neurodegenerative disease there is.
Really?
Yeah.
Fastest growing. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And there is a strong link with the environment and different chemicals in the environment that are potentially linked with Parkinson's, like dry cleaning chemicals and pesticides and herbicides sprayed on golf courses, and farmers who have a higher risk of developing Parkinson's disease, and people on well water because it leaches into the
drinking water, maybe.
Yes. So it's really, it's a big topic. And is there a diet for Parkinson's disease? That's a really good question. And it's like, is there a diet for cancer? So it depends on what's happening with her dad, what stage he's at, what symptoms he's experiencing.
That's kind of the one where you get all shaky, right? Like your body kind of doesn't cooperate.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Rigidity and shakiness. Michael J. Fox was diagnosed at age 29, and he's got a big foundation, and he's written several books on it, and is a very
big proponent, obviously.
Yeah. Alan Alda is another actor from MASH who has Parkinson's, and Harrison Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And Muhammad Ali from the repeated blows for, boxing.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Because that's a risk factor too, actually.
Well, yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
But yeah, they're saying it's possibly preventable if we got rid of some of these nasty chemicals in our environment.
Yeah, well, that makes sense if they're one of the triggers.
Yeah, it just gets into the environment, right? In the drinking water and through our skin, and we ingest it, we breathe it in, air pollution.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of systemic effects, and it's really the chemical companies and government that should be looking at banning a lot of these chemicals, because it's...
We need to get Aaron Brockovich on the scene here.
Well, it reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think there's another movie with John Travolta, Civil Action.
I think there's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing quite a few movies of that kind of theme, so it's out there.
Yeah. So one of the first symptoms can be loss of smell, because it's in the smell center of the brain.
Oh, okay.
And the nose is kind of the front door of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And constipation is another one, is a main...
It's like the back door.
That's more the gut, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it slows down. One comment, I like this. If someone was diagnosed with lung cancer, what would their doctor say to stop doing?
Well, if they're a smoker, they'd say stop smoking.
Right. So with Parkinson's,
Stop breathing in chemicals.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just been kind of funny, but
Well, try to, in all aspects of your life, try to reduce your chemical exposure.
are they finding that it's people who are like, like you said, the golf courses are spraying chemicals? Is it like the guy that's spraying the chemicals that's getting Parkinson's? And
in the dry cleaning, there was a study that showed the people working with those chemicals had 1,500% increased risk of Parkinson's.
Okay, so there's a direct link. So yeah, obviously the doctor says stop working with the chemicals.
Well, stop working with the chemicals. A lot of times it's from like decades before.
Yeah.
But if you're diagnosed, then what are you going to do now? And what are you going to eat? How are you going to move your body? How are you going to sleep? All the lifestyle factors that can possibly keep the trajectory stable instead of increasing your symptoms.
Right, exactly.
But once you're starting to have the tremors, the stiffness, and the shuffling gait, which are all hallmark symptoms of Parkinson's, it's fairly advanced at that point.
Wow. There's got to be some other causes, I guess. I mean, because not everyone who gets Parkinson's is getting it from, sniffing dry cleaning fluid or working on a golf course. Are there other ones that are common, or are those sort of the more common?
Well, the farm workers.
Environmental, yeah.
Yeah, and well water is a big one. Just pollution, air pollution. So the smog, when you see the particulates in the air,
right?
A lot of times in the dust and there's like heavy metals that are in those particulates, and then you breathe them in,
right? And
eventually, Lewy body dementia is the type of dementia that people with Parkinson's usually get. So it's a little bit different than Alzheimer's.
Okay,
but let's talk about the food part, okay?
Yeah.
We've done quite a few episodes on nutrition for seniors, the MIND diet. So I'm going to we'll put these ones in the show notes.
Okay.
The MIND diet, do you remember what that is?
It's a cross between the Mediterranean and the DASH diet, isn't it?
You got it.
And it's like sort of low sodium based diet, maybe. Is it for diabetes too?
It's actually studied in helping delaying or preventing dementia.
Oh, thus the name.
Yeah.
Kind of the MIND diet.
It's more whole foods based.
Right.
And it is similar to the Mediterranean diet for sure. It's just a little bit more simplified.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the aspects of that MIND diet include foods that they have those polyphenols and antioxidants, those bright color skins from the vegetables and fruits. So those are important to help with free radicals in your system.
Right.
To mop up the free radicals. So depending on what's happening with her dad and what symptoms he's experiencing. So as I mentioned, constipation is pretty common.
Right. Okay.
As one of the hallmark symptoms. We did an episode on constipation, best and worst foods. So episode 116.
Right. Okay.
And along with the constipation, a lot of times dehydration or inadequate fluid intake is a problem for people, for older people anyways.
Right.
One of the biggest risk factors for Parkinson's is age. So the risk goes way up after age 60.
The risk for Parkinson's. Okay.
Yeah. And then I mentioned the head injuries. There's also a genetic component. It's not the big driving factor that's affecting the fact that it's like the fastest growing neurodegenerative disease. That's more related to, the aging population, plus looking at the environmental toxins, as I mentioned, the herbicides, pesticides, the heavy metals that can be in our environment that we can breathe in or we're ingesting on our food or through, the air, like close to golf courses or dry cleaning facilities, or where these environmental toxins are.
I guess even spraying your own lawn with that, the Roundup kind of stuff is probably what they use on the golf courses. So even that is probably something to be aware of. Yeah,
exactly. And if you're on well water, a lot of times they test for bacteria, but not necessarily the runoff, like pesticides and things.
Right.
So that's really an aspect to consider. But looking back at so constipation is one of the main factors, as I mentioned before. So we want to make sure we're getting enough fiber. We want to make sure we're getting enough fluid. Are you drinking enough water? Nutrition Nuggets 74, we talked about that, just to try to get people thinking about getting more fluid in. Episode 140, we talked about easy way to add more fiber. So that's another one to check out, because we talked about ways to get more fiber in each meal and snack.
Okay, yeah.
And then remember we talked to Michelle Sari, the long-term care dietitian, about aging well. Mm-hmm. And that was episode 110. So we'll link that in the show notes too, because we talked about working in long-term care and helping people who are malnourished, because there's a huge amount of people that are malnourished and seniors that are not getting enough and adequate nutrition. So that can further exacerbate any disease that you're living with.
Gotcha.
We did one, you and I talked about seniors' nutrition, why diet is critical in the golden years. That was episode 37. So that's a really good one to also check out for people. And with the Parkinson's, so constipation is one of the symptoms that is first kind of identified. Also, sleep problems. So having nightmares or night terrors.
Night terrors?
Yeah, or people acting out their dreams at night. That can be an early symptom of Parkinson's.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting. So maybe that's related to head injuries, or it's just one of those symptoms. So these are things to watch out for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the issue with constipation, I know I'm jumping all over the map here, but it's partly because the GI tract, it's kind of slowed down, like the slowed peristalsis. Do you remember we've talked to Anna Reisdorf about GLP-1s and Rhonda Crick also about GLP-1 or like Ozempic type medication? And that's one of the side effects of that is like slowing the GI tract.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that can cause constipation for people, but with Parkinson's, that is one of the symptoms. So if that's happening, it's really important to try to get things moving. So, increasing your fiber, increasing your fluids. You might need a stool softener. You might need some help in the laxative department. So talk to your doctor or your medical health professional.
Right.
About getting help for the constipation. And trying to find why, like what's happening. Why is the constipation happening? And for this person who asked about her dad, it's probably related to the Parkinson's disease, but then let's get that constipation under better control. And also moving the body helps with constipation.
Right, of course.
So we did an episode, Fitness in Seniors, episode 136. So that was we talked about different activities that seniors could do to help with movement and exercise through the week.
Right.
We also did one on sleep problems and diet, more than just caffeine. So that was episode 16. So referring back to when I said that sleep issues are also one of the early symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm. Pretty specific sleep problems though, right? Like everyone who has a nightmare is going to be worried now that they've got Parkinson's. So I think it's more extreme by the sounds of it, right?
Well, and it's a whole cluster of different things going on, right?
Right. Yeah. So just because you had a bad dream doesn't mean that you need to be worried that you've got Parkinson's. But it's something to be aware of, I guess.
When I help people in long-term care who have Parkinson's, a lot of times it's quite advanced, and they could have chewing and swallowing difficulties. So with just their muscles and their ability to swallow food and fluids is compromised.
Mm-hmm.
So they might need to have modified texture of their food. They might have to have, more soft, moist, possibly minced, maybe pureed diet to help with them get their nutrition through a way that they can tolerate. So they also might have to have their fluids thickened so that they can swallow safely and it doesn't go into the lung and cause aspiration pneumonia.
Mm-hmm, right.
So there's different considerations, and hopefully if the person's in a long-term care home, there's a dietitian to help with adjusting the diet to help with symptoms. There also might be some medication and nutrition interactions depending on the medication they're taking, and there are certain medications for people with Parkinson's, like the Sinemet, which is L-Dopa, and that could interact with some of the protein in their diet. So they might have to take it at, not with food, but maybe that's one that we'll talk to Dean, Ask Our Pharmacist episode that's coming up in the near future. We'll mention or ask him about the interaction with certain Parkinson's medications.
Yeah, good idea. Because he'll know. Because he knows all that stuff.
Oh, he's good at all that.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And of course, we should talk about the fact that, when I mentioned the environmental herbicides, pesticides, different chemicals in our environment, there's also the glyphosate that could be on some of our food. So if you're eating...
That's the stuff that they've sprayed, like at the farm, right? Like it's like Roundup has got that stuff in it. So that's what you mean. It's on your food because it was sprayed at the farm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, if you can, and we've talked about, trying to get more local food, maybe farmers markets, especially if there's certain fruits and vegetables that you really like that maybe are on that list of, I don't know if you've heard of the Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15, the environmental working groups lists of foods that have kind of the highest pesticide load. And a lot of times it's some of the fruits and vegetables that have the skin that's the like porous skin. So like berries, for instance.
A skin that you eat too. That you don't peel off, like a banana, you peel it off, or a watermelon, you peel it. We don't peel it.
Or avocado.
Yeah.
So
exactly. That's kind of a protective layer in a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can, go to a local farm and if they're using chemicals or not, that is great. If not, then maybe some of those fruits and vegetables you want to get more organic, although it gets pricey to do that for everything. So for instance, like berries in the winter, I would definitely buy frozen berries in the winter because they're picked at their peak ripeness and frozen. And they're usually cheaper than the fresh.
Oh yeah. Frozen berries are really a good deal usually from what I've seen.
And I mean, it does vary by country, and it varies by, region in terms of, what's happening with the farming practices in the area, right?
Right, sure.
I think the oats, we've often gotten organic oats because we do have oatmeal quite often. And that's another one where they generally spray it right before the oats are harvested. And so there might be a little bit more of those chemicals on the oats. So organic might be a better option if you're eating them all the time.
Right.
If you don't eat them all the time, it's probably not a big deal. So it's kind of that sliding scale of like kind of weighing your risks.
Sure.
And practicalities of like, buying food for the family and the budget and all those things to consider.
I think with oats, I don't think the organic ones are more expensive from what I remember. I think they're pretty much the same price.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I've noticed too.
Vegetables and fruits are there's a big difference in price.
Right. Yeah. And then we were talking about how like avocado has a thick skin. Onions, you're going to peel that skin.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting rid of the outer layer. Mangoes are pretty low burden. The banana you're peeling.
Mm-hmm.
Cantaloupe. And looking at the Mind Diet that we did talk about, we did a quiz actually, Mind Diet quiz, Nutrition Nuggets 86. And that's a good one to check out. But also the episode 14, Mind Diet and Brain Health.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with the Mind Diet, we know that it has those whole minimally processed foods. You've got the green leafy vegetables. Do you remember what else is in the Mind Diet?
Fish.
Yes.
Fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the what type of fats?
Omega-3s, which are good for your brain health.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And then that's also, fish has like a macronutrient that we need.
Protein.
Yeah, exactly. So fish has some protein. Also getting some chicken a couple times a week is good for protein. We mentioned green leafy vegetables earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good for you because of the polyphenols in there, the lutein.
I was going to say lutein.
Yeah.
I thought I'd let you say it.
Oh, okay. Good for your eye health, remember?
Yeah.
Berries, they're on the Mind Diet.
Okay.
And
sounds like kind of what I eat.
Yeah, berries. So all the different berries. You know, you think of like blueberries, blackberries. It's even better if you pick them yourself.
Is it cherry a berry?
Yes, cherries are included there. They're loaded with polyphenols, those dark red color in the skins.
I just found bucket loads of them in our freezer.
Perfect.
Like literally like bucket loads.
Yeah.
Like,
so good.
Right on. This
is
awesome.
So good. Yeah. So berries, including cherries, cranberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, you know, all the different types. And variety is so important. So if you're in a rut with what you've been eating, try to mix it up and have more variety, diversity of different plant foods. So we've got the green leafy vegetables, we got the berries, we got another vegetable. So remember, we want to try to have some sort of orange vegetable every day if possible. So carrots or pumpkin or squash or even apricot, like dried apricot is considered. It's got the beta carotene. That's what we want from those orange vegetables and fruits. And then we got the fish. We want to have beans. So 4 times a week, try to get some chickpea, legume, lentils, some sort of beans. They'll give you some fiber, some good alternative protein, plant-based protein. Nuts. Nuts are excellent because they have some fiber again. They have those really healthy fats. They're good for our brain health. Walnuts look like a little brain, don't they?
They do. Great snacks too, nuts. I think they're my go-to for when I travel because they're filling, they're nutritious, and they're just easy to pack with you. You don't need to keep them in a cooler or anything. They're just like an easy grab and go, and just have a handful as you're driving or whatever. Just keep them in your backpack if you're hiking or out for the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're great.
Mixed in with some sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds is really good to add those different types of
fats.
Yeah, and there's different minerals in seeds than there are in nuts. So, you know, you get like a little bit of different nutrition with different foods. So that's always good to add variety. And then the olive oil. Remember, we've talked lots about olive oil lately.
Yeah. Olive oil. Love it.
Yeah, it's a recent episode. We can just put that in the show notes too about olive oil. And then with the Mind Diet, we want to reduce some of the processed meats.
Right. Okay.
So the meats that are cured and salted have more sodium nitrates, all those things, you know, like what are some processed meats?
Well, like lunch meat, bacon, those
Salami.
are the ones that come to mind. Yeah, all those All those
hot
ones
dogs.
that are, well, I was going to say all those ones that are delicious. Hot dogs can be delicious. I think just eat so many hot dogs as a kid, but by the time you're older, you're just done with hot dogs.
Yeah, bologna, salami. What's on pizza? Pepperoni. Yeah, so all those, you want to reduce those for your brain health. Also, deep fried fatty foods. You know, that oil could be reused over and over again. It degrades. It's not healthy. It's not good for us. Also, baked goods. So if you're eating, lots of foods from the bakery, they're usually refined white flour and there's not much goodness in them. Right. So those are like pleasure, once in a while, a treat. I mean, people eat candy and that's something that it's not really on our, the food guide, but it's something we eat for pleasure. So just 80-20 rule, right? So we can include those sometimes, but just...
Yeah, it's not the daily menu.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of those foods that are like highly processed, we want to kind of reduce how much we're eating of those. So the ultra processed foods. So what kind are you thinking?
They're usually in a package and they're all in the same aisle in the store and they're all like crunchy and tasty and not real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The snacky foods or the snack items.
Most things that come packaged and they have a fancy label are things to be wary of.
Right. Lots of
health-wise.
Extra sugars, extra fats, possibly trans fats. The same with the bakery items. They use those solid vegetable oils that have trans fats in them. They're kind of getting phased out, but there's still some out there.
Those little pasta dinners too, the little ones that you just open the package and everything's in it. They're really salty, I think, aren't they? They have I don't remember them being super healthy.
Oh,
but they're just like easy.
The camping kind of things, or like, are they for camping? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you just they're that package and you just like open them and it's got the powder sauce and you just throw it all in some water and stir it up and it makes like noodles and sauce.
Right. Yeah. So that's
another kind of fairly processed.
We'll have to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots to consider with this. There's no one diet for Parkinson's, but definitely.
It sounds like you're kind of just treating the symptoms for the most part. I mean, that's kind of what it's based on. The diet is based on sort of treating the symptoms of constipation. And would that be right?
If it's advanced, yeah, absolutely. If it's just like early diagnosis and there's not many symptoms, then definitely I would go for like the Mediterranean diet, like the MIND diet, and check out the episodes that we've done on the MIND diet because those are pretty comprehensive. Like we get really into the details of those. But if it's more advanced and there's chewing and swallowing issues, if there's been some weight loss and malnutrition, dehydration, those we'd want to like take those factors into consideration when you're looking at what foods your dad can tolerate and what he likes and how to possibly make them easier to chew and swallow. He might need his crusts off his sandwiches, for instance, or not like for many people, like rice that's very dry and like falls apart can be really difficult if they're having swallowing problems, or big chunks of meat that can get stuck. So that's we can do a whole nother episode on dysphagia and swallowing problems for people who have different health conditions that are affecting their chewing and swallowing abilities.
I think it's pretty common. Anything else?
Oh, I could talk all day.
No, anything else related to what we're talking about?
No, I could seriously talk all day about this. But yeah, it's hopefully we answered, at least we brush the surface of the question.
Yeah. I mean, it's awareness, as with most things, like the more awareness we have of things, the more we can educate ourselves and gain some information about how to deal with things. And so if you have questions, if you or someone you know is dealing with this and you want more specific information, maybe shoot us an email and then we can delve into this a bit more on a future episode. So you can email us at mywifetherd. That's our email through our website. It's mywifetherd@gmail.com. Website is mywifethedietitian.com. Awesome. Well, thanks, Sandra, for sharing that. I'm sure that will be helpful for lots of people.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we hope that the listener who asked the question, I hope her dad can stay as healthy as possible, and we wish the best for him. Thanks so much for sending us that email.
Yes. If you have other questions, you can reach out to us through our website. It's mywifethedietitian.com. We've got lots of information there. We've got a great blog. We've got a weekly newsletter you can join too. That's free to join. So you can find that through the website. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to us there as well. And if you're liking the show, let us know. We love hearing your feedback. You can rate and review the show. You can send us your comments, your questions. It's all super helpful for us. Keeps things rolling forward here. And if you like the show, I bet your friends will too. So be sure to share with them as well. So that is it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. We will be back on Wednesday with Nutrition Nuggets. So until then, have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.